Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
I suck, you suck, I suck at Call of Duty.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and today I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley
and Will. Right, okay, so we're finally back after a little bit of a break over the summer, and we were about to record this a couple of nights ago, but then Sony announced they were going to do one of their State of Play broadcasts, so we thought we'd bump it a couple of days so we could fully digest that. Wasn't a huge amount going on, really. Just mainly the announcement of The Last of Us Part 2, or Chapter 2, whatever it's called, and a bit of fluff, I think, that they tacked on while they were there. Pretty much.
Filler.
It was just stuff.
Yeah, I had a few thoughts. I mean, they've announced Civilization 6 for PlayStation 4. But I really think that port only exists because the Switch one does.
Yeah, I must admit, it's not the sort of game I can see myself sitting down and playing on a PlayStation. It's very much a PC game. I can see how it appeals on the Switch, so you can play it on the move. But I couldn't see myself just sitting and playing a strategy game like that on a console. Consoles are about action and fun.
Yeah. I had a Civ game on my phone for a time, and that basically was like time travel because I could play a few turns on that and then I would be at my destination.
Fair enough.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So it was perfect for the Switch. I mean, when I do finally get a Switch update, I still don't have a Switch. When I finally do, that will be probably one of the first things I get for it because, I haven't played Civ 6 yet and I like Civ. It's good. Any other thoughts on the State of Play other than...
Well, I was quite interested in so a lot of people have been saying, and I must admit the assumption had been mine as well, that The Last of Us was going to be one of the big system sellers of the PS5.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting that they're releasing on current generation. I think a lot of people were expecting it to be skipping to the next. And I think it's so close to the next generation. I'll be interested to understand if PS5 will have an enhanced edition and whether I hold out for that, because there's so much coming up at that point in time.
Yeah, I reckon that's almost guaranteed. Although you kind of have to wonder what the next sort of gimmick will be for the next generation. Ray tracing, perhaps. Maybe they'll do some more visual bells and whistles if they were to do an enhanced version. Because you've got to imagine that The Last of Us 2 will be running at 4K on the
It's going to be graphically beautiful.
It's going to be, whereas the PS Pro sounds like a jet engine, this will actually create a mini tornado in your living room and beam the imagery onto it.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, I kind of think it's just going to be an absolute metric fuck ton of processing power to have even more happening at once. Because they seem to be, I've noticed with each console generation, they don't talk about the rain effects and stuff like that anymore. They're talking about things that they can do to appease gamers. They don't necessarily talk about the hardware's capability anymore, only in terms of power. But things like, because I was sitting playing a couple of games, I was thinking, do you remember back in the day, the PS4, we used to have the Metal Gear Solid demo, and you were like, oh my god, look at the rain. Gran Turismo, look at the sun. Jesus, it looks realistic. And stuff like that.
Yeah, but I said Gran Turismo on PS1.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I mean. That was the thing to sell consoles. It was, my God, look how realistic this looks. Whereas that's now a given with a AAA title.
Particularly, you look at, as you say, so if you look at Naughty Dog's only PlayStation 4, current generation one, which was Uncharted 4, graphically, that was an absolute delight. Yeah. And how much better it can be on the next generation. So thinking
that's
about
what I mean. I think it's just power to do more at the same time.
Yeah.
I think it will be ray tracing, to be honest, because that's the big feature that all the new graphics cards have, and but not many games support. And you always find that, that there's like this sort of they get the tech, and those cards are there to develop the games on, and then it's when the next wave of consoles comes out that you actually see it being implemented.
Now, here's a thought. So Sony, I think, have confirmed that PlayStation 4 games will play on the PlayStation 5. What if they've built it in? What if you buy it and you put it in your shiny new PS5 and it becomes even more beautiful with the ray tracing that's already there?
Yeah, that would be cool.
That, to me, seems viable, just like the Pro Patch. Maybe they're ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, the PC version of Cyberpunk will support ray tracing, so it stands to reason that, you know, the next gen consoles will have that as well. So, and another reason why your logic of waiting holds water, but I just don't think I can. I really don't.
You've always been an early adopter, though, Rob, haven't you? You're the innovator.
Well, I held out to play GTA 5 for a very long time because I think at the time it came out, I didn't really have much time to play it. So I waited and I waited and I waited for the PC version to come out. And by then it was just old news. Everyone had finished it by then. But I don't know. I still have fun.
But actually, the more I think about it, what if, and it's a big what if, and it's probably wishful thinking, what if things like, because I was saying I'd wait to hold out and play, Cyberpunk on Next Generation, might play for this. It would be fascinating to understand what the difference will be, whether the PlayStation 4 games of, the most recent ones would automatically upscale, just like putting it in the Pro. Is this almost the Pro Plus, not the caffeine tablets, of the generation? But think about it. So with the Pro, they've said there will not be games that can come out that won't work on the base PlayStation 4. If the mark of the generation is they can put games on the PS5 that won't be backwards compatible, but everything going forward can automatically upscale, that could be really an interesting blur.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think it makes total sense to do that, but I don't
Which
think
is why it won't happen.
Yeah, because it doesn't financially. They'll want people to double dip like they have done previously for like GTA 5 and stuff.
I think that's what Microsoft are trying to do, or hinting at, trying to build an ecosystem, so they're kind of still pulling up the old gamers and stuff from their older Xbox. So whatever this new Scarlet machine they're working on, they're still mentioning the old ones, and they're talking about the Xbox system and xCloud and everything all becoming one X ecosystem.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, I guess we can segue into the Inside Xbox broadcast, which did indeed have mention of Project xCloud. They're going to be rolling sign-ups out for it soon. They were really pushing the idea of the whole like playing with your phone docked, stuck on the end of your controller, which I looked at, and unfortunately I don't think I can do it because I've got one of the older Xbox One controllers, so I don't have the doobrey to do it.
Version 2 or something.
Well, it's an interesting thing. So where do we? Sorry, go on, Marcus.
No, I was just saying. To be honest, I'd be more likely to have my phone set as a how most phones have got a built-in phone stand anyway on the case. Just plonk that on your desk, and you could just use the controller. I mean, the only reason why you have it docked is because they want it to look like a handheld unit, but it kind of makes sense to just have the controller as a free unit, because it's Bluetooth tethered, so it's not docked in the physical connection sense.
Or to play on the go, though, you want it attached, just like your switches, essentially, because you don't want to put the switch body down. If you're on a plane, you do it one way, but if you're on a commuter train, it works differently. So it's that balance of them being able to move while you do it.
True.
But it'd be quite interesting. I mean, the cost of a new Xbox controller that would support it and an xCloud subscription compared to the Google setup. Is there going to be any real difference? Yeah, that's the funny.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. I was looking at mobile contracts the other day, and they are getting a lot more generous with their data allowances.
Oh, this was the conversation we had offline, which is probably worth mentioning here, which is the sheer violence of the data consumption of these new streaming services.
Yes.
Which looks like you could burn through 20 gig in a week quite comfortably if you're streaming via mobile data. And I think that's interesting. And I also think 5G. 4G will just about handle it. I think 5G is going to be the one that really empowers the gaming outside of the home with your broadband connection.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with mesh Wi-Fi systems and stuff. Work tech. Basically, Wi-Fi companies are looking at increasing your yield. So, whereas you normally have a Wi-Fi hub, basically they're looking to basically have home Wi-Fi, have the equivalent of like a business Wi-Fi. So, me sitting here, I can reach my Wi-Fi in the hop shop next door, and most of the car park. But with a mesh Wi-Fi, I could be sitting on the road further down, New London Road, and I could still reach my Wi-Fi.
Oh, right, okay.
Basically, like a signal booster.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that, but as default. You just create like a big wide area network, and then it's just, yeah. So that's what they're looking for, and I think it's because of all of these gaming elements and people just being in the garden and being in the house and stuff.
Not necessarily gaming, certainly the streaming,
Yeah.
The streaming elements. It's the Netflix and the YouTube and all of that stuff that people want to consume and consume and consume.
Yeah.
Indeed. Talking of things to consume, there was a few games mentioned. They used this as the big coming out party of Wildcard's new open world survival game, Atlas, which is pirate themed.
Yeah.
I immediately threw this over to my mate Matt, who's been working on a Arc map for the last 5 years, and said, "There you go, that's your life, that is now." But he doesn't seem that interested. It's weird. But yeah, I think this is another one of those huge time sink games. So I don't know if I'll be too interested in that.
I just think after Sea of Thieves, I'm a little bit wary of them, because Sea of Thieves, whilst aesthetically it was a bit weird, it didn't have much to do. And if you weren't playing it with a group of friends at the same time, you were pretty much stuffed. So I don't know how this will work and stuff, because it seems like they've kind of made a slightly more realistic version of it, and that was all the feel I got from it. Which is saying something, because I love pirate stuff, but
I still want that pirate game we were talking about that we thought
with
the thing we thought Skull and Bones might be.
Yeah, I want Skull and Bones simulator. To be this.
Somewhere in between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is mostly going to be it's a new skin on the old survival MMO where you have to craft things and get griefed and ganked by, and it's all persistent, and it's just like I don't know who has time for this sort of shit.
I'll be honest, the whole MMO single player game. That's what I want.
Yeah. As far as single player games go, they did have a big feature on Outer Worlds. Really, they just showed us the trailer we've already seen, and then had a good-looking girl come on to explain it more. Pretty much.
Yeah, no, the Outer Worlds is looking strong. It's still my most anticipated game of what remains of this year. There's a hell of a lot of strong contention after Christmas. But, the Outer Worlds, Borderlands and Outer Worlds were my thing. So I have been playing Borderlands. I will touch on that briefly. But, yeah, the Outer Worlds is the only other game I'm bothered about playing this year. We'll see where the Star Wars thing goes. But it's Electronic Arts, and I have huge reservations because of that. But Outer Worlds does look fun.
Yeah.
Stupid, bonkers, do what you want, fun.
It feels to me like, forgiving the first instance of it, the Titanfall crew, they were funny enough, they were ex Modern Warfare when it was good, got ditched for Treyarch, went off, formed their own group, came back with Titanfall, which was a work in progress, and then smashed out Titanfall 2, which was phenomenal.
Oh, that's no doubt their pedigree. It's their publisher. It's their publisher that concerns me.
I'm interested in both. I think Outer Worlds has the advantage on my time because it comes out first. It's also available to play on Xbox Live Game Pass for PC. Yeah,
it's a lot cheaper, and it's also cheaper. So you're going down the Game Pass route. I have a pre-order in place for the PlayStation 4 at £32. Now that, for a brand new game, is exceptional. A little bit of Googling will find you at 32 quid. That, for a brand new possible RPG of the year, it's got to be worth the punt.
Nice.
I was just going to say, if you've got the link anywhere, like, I'll fire it over.
I believe it's base.com. I'm pretty certain I pre-ordered it from.
Okay, I think I will do that because...
Because that way you don't need to keep the Game Pass.
Well, exactly, and to be honest, I think I know enough about the game now that I'm pretty sold on it.
Snap.
Yeah, cool. All right then. So there are a couple of other games. Children of Morta looks interesting-ish in a sort of action RPG type way. But the only other really notable one that I like the look of is After Party, which is by the developers of a game called Oxenfree. And it's kind of like they've taken that idea, which is like this side-scrolling kind of adventure game. But like the visuals look amazing. And I love the idea of basically these two people going to hell and trying to get into this after party so that they can get back or something, or go to the good place.
That was in. That was actually at EGX Res After Party. That was one I was interested in.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, you basically have to outdrink Satan to win, to exploit a loophole and get back your mortal soul.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm quite interested in that actually. It sounded quite fun.
If we're going for fun little silly indie games, I've got an ongoing game on the Switch at the moment, but once I've cleared that, there is a game I really fancy the look of, which is Untitled Goose Game. Which
okay.
is bonkers. And basically you play a goose. This is not Goat Simulator, I'll be very clear. You play a goose. But the idea of the goose is you just want to make people's lives a bit unhappy. You're not killing people, you're just stealing their keys and hiding them, or maybe just upsetting people by moving their strawberries around. It is that sort of thing. And it takes me back to a ZX Spectrum game called How to Be a Complete Bastard that I adored, where you did things like find the cling film and put it over the toilet and just generally not hurt anyone, but just really aggressively upset them. And I fancy a punt at that, and I'm hoping before we next record I will have cleared my current Switch obligations, and I'm going to have a punt at that because it just looks fun. It's on the Epic Store as well on PC. It's not a game I'll hit on PC, but it's the sort of game I'll happily do while I'm commuting. But passive-aggressive goose game.
I'm watching the Switch trailer. It looks fun. It looks mental.
It does look fun.
I love the visuals.
Yeah, the visuals are beautiful. Apparently the way the goose walks is just, the animation's delightful. I can see you guys both just looking at the screen going,
definitely. It's like a children's book, but you're a lot of bastard goose.
Yes.
That's amazing. Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's going to be happening.
Cool. Yeah, that looks brilliant. Okay, so moving on to some stuff that we've actually played then, and I suppose we should topically talk about Borderlands 3, because that just came out, and from the sounds of it, you're quite a way through that, Will.
I'm... If the wife hadn't had to go to a meeting and I had to do the kids' bedtime, I would probably have just finished the final mission before we recorded this evening. It doesn't mean I see myself as completed the game. It means I've completed a playthrough of the first bit of plot with one of the characters. It feels like there's plenty more to do. I'm not afraid of completing this because I know I'm going to be going back. There's lots of end game stuff. There'll be expansions coming out and new characters to play with. So that's kind of cool. Now, This is Borderlands 3. It is very much Borderlands 1 and 2 plus. And if anyone's been following the reviews, I agree with the majority. The gunplay is magnificent. The sheer variety of guns is bonkers. And you can build a play style around certain makes of guns, or you can build a play style around general explosive damage, and just being all sorts of options. But the guns are randomly generated, except some of the golden ones, which I think are sort of preordained, or the really rare ones. But every time a gun drops, you just want to look at the score of that gun and see if you're going to do better with it. You really want to go out and kill stuff. So the gunplay's good. You can now move around a lot better. The main thing is you can mantle, so you can climb up things rather than just jumping.
I heard about that.
Although it's only a small thing, it really does it gives you a level of verticality in the firefights that's quite satisfying, particularly when you can then sort of jump down and murder people nicely or drop things from a height. But the gunplay is lovely. The gunplay to me feels really good. The humour, a lot of people say, oh, it's awful. Now, I actually quite enjoy a bit of childish humour. A lot of it falls flat, but some of it's funny. I find myself laughing on occasion. Never on the main quest. It's the side quests where you find interesting stuff. It's quite easy to go for the side quests. The only side quests that annoy you are the ones that are too lower level. You ignore them. What I have found is by only engaging in maybe half of the side quests I find, I'm already over-leveled for the main quest. And here is the kicker. I am playing Mose the Gunner, and I've got a build that has made me virtually immortal. And you can respec easily. After a certain level of the game, you get the home base called Sanctuary 3, and you can go back and you can respec your character. But I've got a build at the moment that I'm on, which is just, I think, probably one of the most powerful builds in the game. You have homing missile grenades, and this perk that just regenerates your grenades every time you've done explosive damage, and you almost have infinite homing grenades. One grenade you throw a grenade, flies through the air, it homes in on an enemy, it explodes, it spawns 2 more grenades, those grenades spawn 3 more grenades, and those grenades, this particular one I've got, will then bounce 3 times, explode 3 times. So you're basically chucking 30 odd explosions off of one grenade. And every explosion, there's a like 5% chance of spawning a new grenade. In you never run out of grenades. And if you do, explosive damage does it. So I've got an explosive shotgun, and it does it. But I'm using this build to do the arena things because I love an arena, and they're really rock hard. So I'm using this build, and I'm going to go respec to something fun about elemental damage where I've got a chance of dying because I'm over leveled. But I'm going to finish the game, and then I'm going to try the other characters. I'm looking forward to the end game content, which I understand is a lot more challenging. It's fun. Happy to do it. Money well invested. It's a bit buggy, but there are patches coming out constantly, certainly on the PC version. Regularly, you get a message just comes up and saying there have been some enhancements, quit to main menu, and they just go in. So it's not even that you have to close the game. Just got to go back and it'll take you back to your save point. It's entirely unintrusive, but it's not crashing as often as it was when I bought it on day one. The game is fun. It's the online matchmaking seems to work quite nicely. You get the choice to online match make on the sort of main quest line, or you just join people in the arenas, and that's quite good fun. So you can have up to 4 of you just trying to do one of these big arenas, enjoying that. And then there's another option which I've not even gone for, which is kind of these mini levels, co-op missions outside of the main quest, where you can just go and you kind of have to fight through a map and take on an end boss. You can do that as a group. And the nice thing with the new Borderlands is, Rob, if you've just picked it up and you're on level 10 and I'm a level 50, it does an auto-leveling option. So we're effectively playing at the same level on these side pieces. So you can do the main quest with your mate. You can do the main quest. You can do it on your own, or you can set it so people can hop in as randoms and play. But there's an option for them to be auto-leveled against you, essentially. So on their PC, they will be fighting against level 52 enemies because they're level 52, but you're fighting against level 12s because you're level 12. So suddenly, you can play it socially with your mates, but you don't need to wait for your mates to play socially with them.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a real improvement to me. And also, the gunplay's ridiculously fun. I've just found a new submachine gun that just puts a stream of elemental fire into their faces. And the other thing is each weapon, most weapons have an alternate fire. So this submachine gun, I switch between fire and corrosive damage. So they've got armour, I burn them with acid until I burn their armour away, and then I burn them. It's lovely.
One of the things I've always found with Borderlands, though, is that I never feel like the weapon is quite good enough. Like, it's always like...
There's always a better one.
Yeah, well, it's because no, but I mean, like, the enemies are like just sacks of hit points, bullet sponges a bit. And I just wondered does it feel... it seems as though you sound a bit overpowered at the moment. So
it's all down to the builds. So this is the other improvement. So in Borderlands 2, Borderlands 1, you had a skill tree, right? And you select things from it. Each character has 3 skill trees available to them. So they have different options. So Mo's the gunner. She calls down a mech. That's in all of her skill trees. But depending on the skill tree you go for, you choose what weapons go on it. So I've got the one with the grenade launchers on left and right arm. Or you can have ones with flamethrowers, rail guns, miniguns. And as you progress, you can add corrosive damage or fire damage or change the rocket launcher to a mini nuke, which is visually very impressive, certainly, and quite a lot of fun. The operative, Zane, who I've not played with yet, he's got 3 different options, and you can equip 2 of them on him at any time. And then you get 3 sets of skill trees you can go through. So it's a much more versatile levelling system.
Cool.
Yeah, so the meat sacks, what I'm finding certainly on the first playthrough is it doesn't feel meat sacky to me. You can really burn through them. I mean, some of the big ones are nasty and difficult to get through, but I don't feel that I just spend ages pouring fire into one thug.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that might come from the fact that my only experience of Borderlands is playing through it with a group of 4 from beginning to end. So it can, I think, like a lot of that stuff gets inflated. And therefore, and because it's a bit of the loot system can be a little ruthless in terms of people fucking running around and nicking everything.
There's 2 options now. So you,
can you do
they call it cooperative and coopetitive or something like that.
Yeah.
In the cooperative, loot spawns individually, so your loot will be different, and that is the one where the levelling comes in automatically. So your level 10 is a level 30 in the cooperative version. In the competitive version, if you're a level 10 and a level 30 comes in, they're level 30. If you see what I mean. So there's 2 options on how you want to play it.
Yeah, competitive sounds like
traditional
vanilla.
Yeah,
vanilla like Borderlands.
It's also a horrible term.
Yeah, it is completely. I don't know. The thing is, right, I still haven't played Borderlands 2, as you well know. So
skip it.
I played the other 2.
Yeah.
But so you reckon just skip it?
Borderlands 2 was a PlayStation 3 era game. It was remastered on PlayStation 4, but it is 8 years old, more. Skip it.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
The thing is, I could skip it. I think the thing is, though, Borderlands 2 for me is currently free because I own it, and Borderlands.
But you won't enjoy it enough to want to go to 3. Wait until Borderlands 3 drops in price and embrace it. Right? Is my strong recommendation. What I would also say, seeing an old friend there's for those that have played the previous Borderlands games, all of your old friends come back. Some of them are now dead. They're fairly brutal at times, obviously to progress the plot, but some of the people old favourites from previous ones are very much dead and buried now and not coming back. But it was always lovely to see Tiny Tina, who is now just Tina, so Tiny Tina from Borderlands 2, who I recently found out was voiced by the actress who went on to voice Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. She's reappeared, and because I've realised it, I've been listening to her voice and going, shit, she sounds like Aloy, but mental and into blowing shit up. And it's fun. But yeah, there's a lot. And there's a cameo from Penn and Teller.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense because Penn Jillette is good friends with the boss of Gearbox.
Right. There's a cameo. They're a boss pair. I don't want to over spoil it, but I came up against them today, and I can't even remember. Obviously, it's a play on the name. They're not Penn and Teller. There's Pain and Terror. That's it. Pain and Terror. Boss duet. Nice. It's awesome.
Yeah, because the Gearbox guy, I forget his name at the moment.
Randy Pitchfork.
That's it. Yeah, he's into magic, right? So that's the connection. Yeah, I think they did some stuff at E3. They did like a bit of a like a Q&A type thing in that place where they do all the Q&As. They did a little stand-up thing.
Gotcha.
But anyway,
right enough.
Okay.
Yeah, like I say, not the best game in the world, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
How long did it take you to get to nearly the end?
15 hours, maybe.
That's not bad.
On a single character playthrough. There are 3 other characters with totally individual skill trees, and if it's anything like Borderlands 2, there'll be a couple more characters dropping for free. Because Borderlands 2 added the Necromancer and the Psycho, taking the roster up to 6. I would expect that to happen. They're talking about free DLC as well, and there's in-game content which I haven't touched. There's a New Game Plus mode kicks in immediately after, and with this whole leveling thing, you can do the New Game Plus mode, keep going, and when your mates play, hop in and join them, and that's what I like about it. They've learned. It's still Borderlands, but they've learned from some of the other games.
I assume there aren't any loot boxes.
Nothing. Oh, you can buy golden keys, which will get you a golden weapon, but there's no requirement whatsoever, and that was in Borderlands 2 as well. There's nothing more than that. So you can buy, and you possibly can buy the currency, but there's certainly nothing thrust in my face about it. The only thing is, so the Amazon version pre-order came with like 5 golden keys, and that would have got you some like super elite weapons, which you would level past instantly anyway, and you collect enough as you play through. But at no point have I even. It might be that there's a way to buy more, but I've not been. At no point has it said, "Oh, you can go and do this and go and buy stuff." If there is an ability, if there's an ability to pay to win, because you're never competitive against other people. If there's an ability to do so, it is in no way, shape, or form forced down your throat.
You have to go your way to go to it, kind of thing.
Yeah, like I say, I've not noticed it. So
that's fair enough. That's good.
It might be a main menu. There was a shop option, but I didn't notice.
But most games do, so that's perfectly fine, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love an Assassin's Creed game, but there's always a bloody place you can pay money for an Assassin's Creed game to buy shit you don't need.
Yeah, I think as long as people stick to sort of the more in-game currency type thing and honest sort of time saver stuff, I think that's fine. I think it's the sort of the gambling type nature of the loot box thing that was particularly problematic.
There's nothing like that whatsoever. There's skins you can get, and you find the currency in game, and there's a rare weapons shop. I think it's Iridium is the special currency. But I just earn it. I haven't even looked to see if there's a way to buy it. There probably is, I suspect, because that's how you could buy the character skins and the really posh weapons. But yeah, I've not been forced down that route or had any suggestion that it's worth my while from the game. So I'm happy with that.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay, well, Marcus, you've been a bit quiet, so I'll let you go first, actually.
Well, I'm going to mention a game that is less shy about offering stuff to buy and everything else. Dauntless.
Oh, okay. This is the recent,
it's a free-to-play MMO, sort of Monster Hunter light, I would say. Monster Hunter mixed with Fortnite. And I had a little dabble.
Is this PlayStation?
PlayStation,
Xbox, and I think on PC as well.
Usual suspects.
Yeah,
and it's crossplay.
Definitely on PC.
And it's crossplay through all of them. So the only reason why I thought it was worth a mention is because it's another example of a genuine crossplay title. It's free to play, like Fortnite is, and I think it is by the Fortnite people. So it is very Fortnite-y in its graphics and style and the world and everything else. There is a shameless market section where you go up and you can buy stuff, and it would take you to the whole spend currency to get these shiny armor bits and all that sort of thing, which feels like you've walked into a mobile game, which was a little bit disappointing after a little bit of a playthrough. But I could kind of see people enjoying this. I mean, to be honest, my curiosity was purely from whether the game was any fun and how well it would work. I did get a chance to try out the crossplay between PS4 and Xbox, but I don't really have a whole lot to say on it, to be honest. It kind of does what it does. It feels like a cross between like Guild Wars, sort of WoW and every other kind of average middle of the road sort of middle MMORPG.
There's nothing hooking you then.
Not really, to be honest. I thought there would be, which is why I haven't gone back to it.
How long did you give it?
I gave it we gave it like an evening or 2 evenings or so. And this was probably about 4 hours each time. It's probably about 8 hours or so.
If you put 8 hours in and there's nothing going...
Probably about 6. I reckon 6, maybe 7 hours, I'd say.
If a game hasn't captured your interest by that point, don't go back. Let's face it.
I didn't feel any of the kind of rewards, shall we say, similar to like its big sibling or whatever. But I just think as an interesting point that even after Fortnite's been out for bloody ages, they were still able to jump through the hoops and get something like this playable on all systems that all people can jump in and play, shows that is less of a pipe dream than people still think. But I just don't know what it's capable with other companies and other licenses, and I think that's probably the bigger issue.
But if you're writing it as Epic Games doing it, they have an incredible amount of clout these days.
It's not Epic. It's a studio called Phoenix Labs. It's available exclusively through the Epic Store, though, on PC.
Right. Okay.
Well, I had to sign up on Epic on the console as well. So
probably.
So I think it might still be the influence of Epic Games.
I think maybe they own Phoenix Labs. They might have bought them now.
I think that might be why. I think that might be why. So even though it is a smaller studio, they're using their weight to just push it through.
Yeah. Similarly, presumably, like you get an Ubisoft game that you would go cross-play, you just sign up for an Ubisoft account rather than that developer. So it would make sense that perhaps they're owned. But yeah, it's an interesting principle. And I'd like to see more cross-play, but Rob's about to tell us we're wrong.
Yeah, it got me wishing that there are more titles like that with some sort of thing, even if it's just consoles only or console to PC or something like that. You know, I just think it would be quite nice. It would be quite nice to have to be able to play with your mates, and if they're sort of like, oh, I only play PC, but because most come out on all 3 systems and the Switch anyway. But
well, this is starting to happen more and more. The recently announced Divinity 2 for Switch, I think that has cross-platform saves. So I think you still have to buy it. Yeah, you still have to buy it on PC or PS2. I think it worked. Sorry, PS4. I think it doesn't matter which version of it you have, but I think you have to buy those games individually. But your progress can be saved from one to the other.
See, that's like the what Xbox called the Xbox Anywhere, which was if you're playing on. They touted it for the last sort of system where. I think the number of titles using it has died off, but it was if you bought the console version, I don't know if you had to buy the PC version as well, but I think you got a digital download of the PC one. You could play your save over.
That was for the Microsoft published ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, but it was titles that had the Xbox Anywhere, and that was the catchphrase they used for it, and it was the sticker that you had on certain games.
That's it. It was mostly Microsoft published stuff, but it makes a lot of sense for them because they don't really care which platform they sell it on. They want people in their ecosystem, and actually, it's a really cool thing, really.
Yeah, I think it's great. Anyway, that's pretty much me. So I reckon, Rob.
Phoenix Labs, that game, Dauntless, it's published by Epic Games. That's
right. So they're the publisher and the platform on PC, but they're the publisher. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, across all of
Sledgehammer.
That's a different studio. That's a different developer, isn't it?
What? Which one?
Sledgehammer.
Sorry, I was...
Oh, yes.
Moving on.
Okay, so, I played a game that was released in the year of our Lord, 2019.
Ooh!
Finally, after having my life sucked away by Red Dead most of the year.
Is it one I sold to you, perchance?
I have played a game from 2019 that you sold me, but this is not that game.
Oh.
The game that this is A Plague Tale: Innocence.
Oh.
Which came out in May of this year, and it is a third-person action game from Asobo Studio and published by Focus Home Interactive. Focus Home Interactive usually make games that score 7 out of 10. And are generally considered a little bit unfinished, could have done with a bit more time in the oven, but normally have the best of intentions.
It's just kind of it's your classic double A definition almost, isn't it? Your triple A, you expect to be highly polished. Yeah, exactly that, which is fine, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just fine. That before people have developed them for millions and millions of dollars, it's like, yeah.
This is it. They make games like it was 1999 or something like that.
Yeah. Or using the principles from, but fortunately the technologies from the current era.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, they have to make it with today's tech, but really they shouldn't be.
It's like, artisan games.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Journeyman
craft games. No, actually, sorry. To be fair, I think craft games is your indie scene, right? But this is more the free-range organic side of things.
Yeah, we can go with that. So, apart from the whole, all of that nonsense that surrounds such a title from a publisher like this, basically we have a game that is set in I think it's the 14th century, and it's set in France, and you play as Amicia, and you have to basically guide her younger brother through this sort of perilous landscape that is plagued with this horrible rat disease. And so...
sorry. Plagued with a rat disease.
It's like a rat plague.
Yeah, it's a plague, isn't it? But the word...
Yeah.
Sorry, but the word plagued actually stopped you from saying what you want to do, which was plagued with...
Plague.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, my apologies. Please continue.
Yeah, so, basically the gameplay is kind of the stealth type variety at first. You have to run away and do your best not to get into any kind of conflict. But as you play, you gain access to alchemy, and you can conjure fire to light braziers that deter the rats. And your power increases to the point where, spoiler, but you can probably guess where it's going. And yeah, it's a really great game. It definitely takes a lot of cues from AAA games, the way the camera's used, the animation, and the overall production of it is very ambitious. There's a few little corners and things that kind of perhaps keep it from that AAA status, but it's a really good story. It's not overly long. There are some incredible set pieces. You'll find yourself in almost every encounter is kind of different, you know, like you might find yourself using your abilities to funnel enemies a different way to block off areas that they can get you from. Yeah, I really liked it. It's not amazingly long, as I said. It's probably about 10 to 12 hours.
Sometimes that's a blessed relief. Trust me.
It is. But obviously this game, I think, has probably struggled in the sales department because they're justifiably asking for full price money. But, you know, without a huge campaign and no like multiplayer or anything, I think people still find that a bit of an issue.
But it's down to costs, right? Now, if this was a 20-man team compared to, an Ubisoft game has 500 people working on it? You know, things like an Assassin's Creed or more than that. So it's all down to cost. Now, if it is sold well enough to make them a profit, happy days. What I've seen is it's critically reviewed very well.
I think this will be up for awards. I reckon it'll get that kind of attention. Yeah, like at the BAFTAs next year. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's something different.
Yeah, definitely.
But Michael, I have a question for you. How many times did you laugh?
Did I laugh?
Was it fun? In the genuine, I'm having a lovely fun time. Because everything I've seen and read about it, it sounds a bit too fucking harrowing and bleak. Down the Dishonored route. There's nothing cheerful, anything cheerful there.
Not really. No.
That's why I won't play it.
Yeah, I think a certain lightness of touch wouldn't have hurt. But they're going for a very grim sort of thing, you know.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, it would kind of cheapen the theme of it, I think, to kind of put any of that in there. Yeah, and I must admit, you know, there were times where I was like, oh, I don't really know if I'm in the mood to play this. But I think the gameplay was genuinely good enough, and there was some genuinely cinematic moments. There was a great moment where I was running away, and there's all these rats popping out of the ground, and you've got to use your fire pebbles, whatever, to light these braziers, and then you get to the bottom of this hill, and there's this massive windmill that's on fire. Or you have to light part of it on fire to basically give you this path to spread the rats away, and make your way over to this raft. But yeah, that was cool. And there was some really good moments where, you were just using all your different abilities. I have to say there were a couple of moments that were a little trial and error-ish, but they were few and far between.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, right now, I'd say of the games I've played this year, it's probably my favourite one. But that's not a very long list right now, so... Thanks for listening to the Not Playing Podcast, part of the Not Listening Podcast Network, where you can also find the Not Watching Podcast, where we talk about movies and TV, and the Not Listening Podcast, where you can hear Adam and Co. talk about all kinds of nonsensical nonsense. You can email us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for all our shows at notlistening.co.uk, and if you like what you've heard here, please do leave us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, bye!
With no booty, my friend, I'm inclined to agree, 'cause I suck at